Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 47 of the Gametime Gents podcast. It is me, Nardi, here with Fish and Zoltowski. Boys, say hello.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking about the AFC West. We're going to be previewing the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Raiders for next year. So before we get into that, we do have some pieces of news to hit. So Jordan Hicks has retired, guy Fish and I played with in high school. Makes us feel really old that he's now been in the league and now out of the league. So we wish Jordan, the best in his futures there, but pretty sad to see him go, especially with the season being so quickly approaching. He was on the Browns last year, my team, so it was really, really cool to see him play for the Browns and lead that defense. So hopefully they learned something from the guy, because it's going to be sad not to see his leadership on the field. But
the crazy thing is, right, the Eagles drafted him. I mean, if he wasn't so hurt playing with the Eagles and throughout his career, I mean, the guy was a tackling machine. I mean, he read defense or offenses very, very well. So I mean, you get to give that guy his kudos there. But it kind of, we'll talk about it later on in the next episode, is what could have been. It's just something. It's just very interesting. Very happy that he retired. And doing his thing with him, his wife, and his kids and such. But that was exciting when the Eagles drafted him. There's a lot of big things happening there, so it was good stuff. But I'm glad he played for both of our teams, though, which is pretty cool. So
yeah, that is awesome. He was the Tony Romo destroyer back in the day. I remember him sacking him multiple times, and I think he even actually hurt Tony. That was his very last. Yeah. His very last play was Jordan Hicks tackling him there. So. We have another couple pieces of news. We have Christian Wilkins. That situation's wild. It seems like he's got some things going on mentally, maybe. He has not rehabbed his foot correctly, and he refused a second surgery. So the Raiders have completely voided his deal. And, I was debating on whether to put him on the additions list or the subtractions list for this week, but I put him on the subtractions just because he's not going to be playing for them next year. So Christian Wilkins, great defensive tackle. There's been a lot of great mic'd up moments that he's been a part of. And, it's going to be sad not to see him on the field next year. Maybe he'll get picked up somewhere else, but it's got to be troubling. You would think that he would have to pass a physical to be signed, correct?
Yeah, he would definitely have to pass a physical. But again, he played for who? The Raiders?
He was just signed with the Raiders. He played for Miami last year.
It's just another big name that the Raiders are kind of fumbling the bag on. Like you said, he's a great D tackle. I mean, that guy picked up. I remember watching him a little bit last year and the year before as well. But I mean, there was a good amount of times where he was always picked up double coverage by the offensive lineman there. So it's just another big name. It's another question of, what are the Raiders doing? Was he fully healthy? So he's still young enough. Now, the only thing that really is going to kind of stem down to is, what are they going to do with that contract, right? Is it fully voided? Is he down to sign anywhere once he passes his physical? Or are other teams like, yeah, we'll sign you, but we have to pick up, $50 million of that contract to the Raiders and such? Because that could be another implication that other teams wouldn't pick him up just because it costs so much. And if he is coming off of an injury, it could be a big deal, kind of a deterrent for some teams too. So just something to keep an eye out for sure.
So pulling something up here real quick too. I don't know if you guys seen the rumors that were going around today that there was other incidents like in the locker room. Apparently he tried to playfully kiss a teammate, didn't like it, took it to HR, and that was also part of his release. But I've also seen that Vrabel has talked about signing Wilkins. He said to reporters Friday the team will talk about signing him. Monday, Brian Flores at Minnesota said that he coached him in Miami. He said that it's not his decision, but he enjoyed coaching him and would have interest in adding to the position. So it looks like he's got options.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the whole needing another surgery to fully repair, because like he tweaked it again in OTAs, and that's what caused the need for the second surgery. That'll be an interesting part of it. Are they willing to take the risk for someone who could possibly be a problem in the locker room, and who knows when he'll be back? How much money are they willing to pay him? But
which we've seen that more and more, that back 10, 15 years ago, where if the player could play and he was an absolute dog on the field, the ego locker room thing could kind of almost be overlooked. But now we're kind of seeing that more and more, where you could have all the talent in the world, but if you're a cancer in the locker room, nobody's going to touch you, which is a big deal. And we're kind of seeing a lot of. I mean, look at the George Pickens, and who's the big guy from was with Seattle,
Metcalf.
Yeah, you look at these guys, and I mean, they got extraordinary talent, right? Top 0.1% of the wide receiver pool making it to the NFL, making it to the big leagues. But even the teams are like, yeah, I see potential there, but you know what? I don't want to deal with the locker room. It's too much of a team ruiner internally. And obviously that could do a lot more damage than just him outshining and producing on the field, especially off the field. His name's always in the news, stuff like that. So another thing, I mean, great points this week so far. Things to kind of watch as the weeks progress. So very interesting.
Yeah, in other news, Rashawn Slater, who is on the Chargers, we'll talk about him here in a moment, signed a really huge deal for a left tackle. He's the highest paid left tackle in the league now. He's been an absolute dog since he's been in the league. So happy to see him get paid. The Bengals have finally signed Shamar Stewart. I don't think any of us thought it was going to happen, and it ended up happening. And I'm sure he's going to be reporting to camp, and now they can focus all their energy on bringing Trey Hendrickson back, which sucks for the rest of the AFC North. But man, it seems like they always get it to fall together, don't they? At the end of the day.
Yeah. Supposedly the contract that they agreed upon was exactly what he wanted initially, just like a little less guaranteed money, or maybe it was a little, maybe it was the first year that it was a little bit more guaranteed. So they were very close contract wise. But again, we've talked about this before in previous podcasts, where I mean, this guy, it's not like he had 100 sacks in college, right? He had 4 his entire career playing there. So not only does he come with the, I guess, the efficiency, the performance of a first round pick, which we know that he wasn't supposed to be drafted in the first round, should have been second, third, probably, could have easily fallen there. But now people are looking at him saying, okay, well, now you get this guaranteed contract, now you got your money, now it's time to produce. So the Bengals have kind of cleared that storm, but I feel like there's another storm brewing just a little further down. I mean, this guy has to hit the ground running. I mean, I know he was practicing with Texas A&M, but no offense to the A&M players, but
yeah,
when you got a lineman who's 6'1" and like 200 pounds compared to a guy like Mailata who's 6'8", 350, it's a different ball game. So it's congrats on, Bengals fans, you guys signing your first round pick. It's not a complete wash. This guy's got to hit the ground running. He's got to produce, or all hell's going to break loose in week 3 when he, logs in 3 tackles and half a sack. It's going to be a big, big problem.
Yeah, I assume he's already not in great favor with the Bengals fans or the front office. So you're right. He needs to produce to show his worth and for them to bring him back after this 100%. Rookie deal. But officially, all of the picks from the 2025 draft are signed, except for Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah, I was going to say, did he sign his?
Yeah, he's not been signed yet. So, and I didn't put this on the doc, but, going back again to the Nick Chubb thing, just because I like to feel pain and continue that. Joe Mixon is got some sort of injury going on. They don't know if he's going to be ready week 1. Fire up the Chubb Express, Houston. You're going to enjoy that man running all the way down the field. I have no thoughts in my mind that he's not going to be able to play. He's a freak. So I'm sure he'll really make Browns fans sad week 1 and 2, or however long he's going to shoulder the workload with Mixon being out. But yeah, I mean, just wonder what could have been, which we'll get into on the Friday show. So
could have been,
yeah.
That's got fantasy implications too now.
Huge, massive fantasy implications. Yeah.
But I want to talk about your point you made where the Bengals always seem to get it done. I've been my physical therapist, huge Bengals fan. So whenever I'm there, we always talk about football. And he mentioned to me that something that made sense is the Bengals are really, they don't go for a bunch of things all at once. They focus on one player at a time and just kind of chip away at it, which to us kind of looks crazy because, we're used to teams making these trades or signing multiple guys at once. Whereas the Bengals, they go, hey, well, because Jamar and T both have the same agent now. So, that's one agent they're dealing with. And now hey, now we're done with Shamar. Now we're going to work on Trey. So he goes back today as this episode comes out on Wednesdays to training camp. So we'll see if that's going to help kind of move those forward with negotiations. Again, like you said, it does suck for the rest of the NFC North because they're gonna probably get it done. I mean,
yeah, it really sucks.
I just hope that Shamar doesn't work out for him.
But is it really? Go ahead, Zoltan.
I think the biggest thing, like what you mentioned, Fish, is the production. Now, when you talk about production, obviously, you think tackles, sacks, but are we including pressures in there? Like if he's putting good pressure on the quarterback where he's making quick throws so he doesn't get sacked, to me, that's great production, right?
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, you don't need a stat pad. I mean, obviously, everybody looks at the stats like, holy shit, he had 20 sacks, whatever it may be. He had 100 plus tackles. Great. But you look at Jalen Carter, right? I hate to talk about the Eagles, but Jalen Carter was very, very efficient because he took up him and Milton. Reason why the Milton and Jordan Davis are very good is because Jalen required two people to guard him essentially, right? So then you had your other D tackle one-on-one or your end one-on-one with someone else on the outside. So no, obviously the glorifying number, if you could stat pad, great. But I think, and I think the three of us have enough football knowledge, and I feel like the people that are listening to this, the Grywees and Niceleys and stuff like that, you also the numbers are great, but if that guy's getting double coverage and he's leaving Trey Henderson or someone else alone one-on-one on the outside or inside, that has huge implications for the defense. Honestly, I'd rather have a guy that has minimal stats, but I know is constantly getting either pressure or that QB hit, getting in the backfield, kind of disrupting the play, or even drawing double coverage from the offensive lineman. That way, because it's not, we know football is not just a single man sport. Outside of the quarterback, you can do so much, but defense, you rely on everyone else at those other positions. Everyone else has to be at their top game. So if I'm on D line, right, I'm taking two guys with me. And Trey's over there and he's got single, cool. And then when they double him and then it's single on me, great. Now it gives me an opportunity to kind of showcase why you should double me. So I like we said, he's got to hit the ground running. He's got to be a monster. He's got to take up multiple coverage on defense, get pressure and stuff like that. But keep in mind, if he does pan out and Trey Henderson does sign, that's just two players. And it's the trenches. We love the trenches. Championships are built in the trenches. Eagles learned this. A lot of teams are replicating that too. But then you got to rely on your linebackers, your corners, your safeties to also, because I mean, we're all human. You're not going to get to the quarterback every time, right? And they're going to scheme to kind of push away from Trey Henderson. We saw a lot of that last year. So again, the focal point is going to be on him to kind of squeeze and pinch in on the other side so they don't scheme against Trey and kind of force it down the middle. So Bengals defense is still going to be in shambles. They might turn around and start off hot, but they got a lot more work than just two players. This is trending in the right direction, but again, it's just two players in the trenches. It's not a Sauce Gardner where he's going to lock down the number one receiver, and then you just have to worry about the tight end or wide receiver 2 to kind of pick up the slack. So it's just it's good, but I'm not sold. So I don't know.
No, I'm not sold on their defense either, but what you guys are saying about pass rush is great. I mean, the more they have to have a tight end chip and help or have a running back stay back and block, that's just one less target for the quarterback to throw to.
100%.
And we always talk about, oh yeah, he plays like, are we past the time? We passed it?
Oh yeah. We're way past.
Yeah, he plays like shit, but it's because he's got no time to throw the ball,
We're saying that? I think I've talked for 10 minutes, so I think we're all right. Yeah, he should be good.
No. But, so I think, that's probably, I'd I'm with you there. Like, yeah, a guy that stat pads would be great, but if I could have a guy that's consistently pressuring every single play, I take that 100%.
Yeah. No, I agree. But in some lighter news, first football games this week, boys. It's tomorrow night, July 31st, 8 p.m., the Hall of Fame game between the LA Chargers, who we'll be covering today, and the Detroit Lions, who we covered last week, are going to be playing football. God, I'm glad it's back. And Dan Campbell's probably going to play his starters the entire game. That's all I'm saying is he's going to be so ready for football to be back. He's going to be having them go out there, bite kneecaps, run through drywall.
The offense and defense have been going at it at training camp where he's had to like pull everyone together multiple times. And I don't know if it's just, fuel from last year, that, abysmal playoff performance and that, the fire that they have. I mean, I'm here for it because the guys are all looking good. Hutch looks amazing from what I've been seeing and what I've been reading after coming back from that disastrous leg injury. So I'm excited, man. Football's finally here. And then
he's got a 6 sleeve on his leg too.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it's finally here. I'm excited. I'm ready for my weekends to be taken up with football instead of other stuff.
I can't wait. Yeah. I'm pumped. But obviously it's the Hall of Fame game. It's going to happen up in Canton, Ohio. It is the smallest Hall of Fame class this year since 2005, and we have Antonio Gates, Jared Allen, Sterling Sharp, and Eric Allen. So pretty small class there. Jared Allen, one of the best sack celebrations in the history of the NFL. The cow tie, just always been great. So excited to see that. Who do you guys think is going to do the inductions for these guys? I have a feeling Sterling, it's going to be Shannon, but for Gates, it's probably going to be Phillip Rivers, if I had to guess.
Yeah,
I don't really know.
Guess.
I would assume so. It would be Rivers.
Eric Allen, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I think he played early 90s, so he played right when we were all born.
Yeah.
I mean, even a Dawkins or like a West, somebody like a Javon Curse or somebody from that era would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Maybe a Todd Pinkston. Maybe he comes back. I mean, that guy has been talked about in 20 years, but
holy crap. I forgot that was a person.
I could see Weapon X doing it just because he's got such a great rapport with that entire team and then the organization as well, which would kind of make sense. But I don't know. Eric Allen's kind of it's a toss up for sure.
Yeah, and the Jared Allen, he's been on so many teams. Who knows?
The Vikings were the main for him, so it'll be, I don't know, maybe Favre, even though he's only a Viking for a year, or even maybe they bring Kirk Cuddy out because I don't know if he played. Can't remember when Kirk.
I don't think they played together, but
it's still that big Vikings game at that point. I don't know.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see.
No, it'll be cool. And then Fish, did you want to talk about the thing you brought?
Yeah, we definitely can. Yeah, I mean, it's something to talk about. So, for a lot of us that might not know, the WNBA is currently playing. Caitlin Clark, and a bunch of other girls. It seems like they've gotten a lot of great traction, trending. I hate to use trending for the 30th time, but trending in the right direction. Their All-Star game, they decided to wear a certain T-shirt saying that we should be, I think it was paid the same or something like that. They openly came out and said that they don't want, I think Plum said, we don't want to be paid as much as LeBron or other NBA players, but the same percentage for what the WNBA brings in, which for most of us that don't really know, the WNBA has not been profitable since they've started. The NBA funnels money into them, into that organization to kind of help build the female side of that sport, which is great, right? We fully support that. But it's just interesting to kind of see them talk, and we've seen a lot of clips circle around like, okay, well, if you guys want a percentage, well, technically you're 50 million in the hole, so you should be paying us 130 to play each game kind of thing. So that all kind of transpired, but then they also started doing expansion teams as well. Portland and Toronto for next year, they're expanding both of those regions over there. And then the next three, over the course of the next 3 years, Cleveland, which would be cool, Detroit, and Philly. And I like to think that the three of us had some type of influence involved, and that we want a female basketball team out there. But respectively, 28, 29, and 2030, Philly ending the final expansion. That's supposedly more to come as well. But for an organization, I read something that to start an expansion team, they need about 50 million, I think is what I read. To, obviously, they're not going to build up a new arena or anything like that. They would just play in current stadiums. Probably the Philly one they'll probably play at the Sixers arena and stuff like that, which is great, right? Double dipping in that, which is fantastic. You don't need to spend $12 billion on a new stadium or anything. But again, we need 50 million up front in order to expand the teams. I don't know. There's a couple rookies that are coming in that are doing big Caitlin Clark type moves and bringing a lot of attention, word of mouth, which is great. But 50 million is not pocket change. At what point, I kind of want to get your guys' thoughts on it, and I don't know if you read much into it, but the NBA 50 million is pocket change to them, right? They bring in billions of dollars every year.
Yeah.
But at some point, I mean, now you got players that are stepping out saying, hey, we want the same cut. They're threatening to, I think Angel Reese came out and was like, yeah, we have no problem. We'll go ahead and sit. I don't know when the NBA and the NFL they went on their little strike, it was a big deal, right? I just don't know if the WNBA and them sitting, if that's going to cause enough stir to warrant people and like, oh well, hold on now, we should probably get them their money. It's just interesting as everything kind of transpires since the All Star game. What are your guys' thoughts on it? I mean, it's tough to pay one of them LeBron 50 million a year kind of thing with endorsements and such like that. But do they get paid a million per, even though that the league is kind of bleeding money and they're really relying on the NBA? Or I mean, it's not going to be next year they're not going to be able to recoup 400 million kind of thing. So it's going to take years to kind of build up that rapport. And again, they're doing great. But I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on it?
So I just looked it up. The average salary for the WNBA player is $147,745. The league minimum is $66,079, and then the max is $244. So, I think you have to think about it more like, yes, it's a league of its own, but it's also being sponsored by the NBA. So, the NBA, the lowest contract you can have for the year in the NBA is like 1.27 million. And I think that they're not asking for, the big 4-year, $240 million contracts that like SGA just got. If those numbers are a little bit off, I apologize. But I think that they are seeing a huge uptick in the WNBA because of people like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And they're wanting to get rewarded for that. Now, how far down the road that'll be, I don't truly know. But if they keep showcasing these players and showcasing their personalities like they do with with the NBA, like we know LeBron, we know his personality. He's more than just a basketball player. He's a character, and at that point, like that's what drives money. Sure, he's a shoe brand, all that stuff, whatever. You talk about that, but I think they do deserve probably a little bit more than what they're making right now. Now, I'm not going to say it should be what the NBA is making just because of revenues at the end of the day, but I'm sure that these owners are making much more money percentage-wise off the product than NBA owners are making percentage-wise, is what I'm saying. So I think you have to look at the bargaining agreements. At the end of the day,
owns 60% of the WNBA, so they're only seeing 40% of the revenue.
Yeah,
the NBA's taking all the money, which I get. They're funding. They're funding most of this. They're taking the losses on it. Looks like they're looking into a new media rights deal, which will potentially triple that revenue from up to 180 to 200 million, which would be great.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the new stars coming in, like you guys have said, the popularity is growing. I mean, you look at the attendance for teams that aren't playing the Indiana Fever versus when they are playing the Fever, the numbers are doubled, most of the times tripled, because people are going to watch Caitlin Clark play. You know, she broke the record for the whole NCAA, not just women's, men's and women's, for all-time points scored in her college career. I mean, even seeing her highlights, dude, I'm not a big basketball guy, but man, when she drains it from half court, it's impressive. I think the expansions are a great idea for them. You know, try to get the sport out there more. I know games have been more advertised. I see them on ESPN more, especially on the app. They're really trying to push for it. And even, you know, looking at the scoring, I remember even a couple years ago, you know, you'd see WNBA would be like 52 to 68. They're scoring more points. The games are getting better because the players are better, because there's more of a push for women's basketball. So I think they have their reasons for wanting more money. Yes. Will they ever get paid the same as the NBA? Absolutely not. No. The NBA just brings in too much. The talent is so much greater there. The league minimum should be raised. I'm pretty sure my annual salary is higher than that. And I am not a professional sports player. That's not what I do. You know, when these people are sometimes, you know, you think about like the NFL and the NBA, these guys are foregoing college degrees. These girls are sometimes foregoing college degrees. I think most of them finish it just to have that backup because they know what the WNBA is like. But this is what they want their career to be. This is what they worked for. So, and the shirts were pay us what you owe us. So they're just, you know, I just don't know how is it like it's going to be like football or hockey or, you know, the NBA where they're just going to have to go by stats. Who's my highest performer? Okay, they're going to get paid the most. And that's probably how it is now. I mean, the league max, that's pretty damn good if you ask me. You know, $250,000, it's a pretty good chunk of change, especially if you live in like Indiana. It's not too expensive to live out there. Not granted, you know, out in LA or these other bigger cities.
Chicago.
It's going to be, Chicago, even Detroit, because Detroit's had this revitalization over the past couple of years where, you know, they got Little Caesars now and Ford Field and Comerica are all right there together. So that area has just blossomed back up into what it used to be. I mean, we were there for the Tigers game a couple weeks ago and it was like, it was packed. I mean, the stadium was full and the Tigers are playing great, but I'm talking about downtown. Like driving to the parking garage, downtown was busy. You know, there was people out shopping, going to restaurants, doing this, doing that. So I'm excited Detroit's getting, you know, that they were the shock. It was the shock when they were there. I wonder if they're going to keep that name or what they're going to do with that. Excited to see more Detroit sports out there. But it's interesting to think about, you know, when we talk about being so excited for football, even college, you know, and then we don't really talk much about the WNBA. So,
yeah, and in terms of like league longevity, the WNBA is still pretty young. Like, it's been around for 29 years. So you think about like the NFL when it was 29 years old, even if you go before the merger, those guys were not getting paid crazy amount. Now that was a different time, of course, but you know, things evolve, and I think that this is a really big point for the WNBA right now with the players that they have. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Sophie, I forget her last name off of the Indiana Fever, but it's trending in the right direction for them, and I'm sure that they want to get paid now, but the numbers at the end of the day do have to align. So, and they only play 44 games. Now that'll increase with the new teams, but you know, it's trending in the right direction. We've seen leagues fail in this country. We've seen the MLS fail multiple times, and then we've seen it come back, and then
arena football,
live come back many times before. So, no, it's a good topic that you brought today. I mean, the shirts, I'm sure they were just trying to make a statement and, you know, do the protest thing, but yeah, like you're saying, the money has to be there for them to get paid, and I don't know if they need to work out a new collective bargaining agreement with the owners of the WNBA teams, or if the NBA truly wants to back them as much as they are. I don't know if they would be comfortable giving more money to them, but
change it to 60. The WNBA gets 60, NBA gets 40.
Yeah, in terms of the revenue. So
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question.
I got one comment on something, and I think Fish will agree with me on this just before we jump into our preview. Back to Hall of Fame. So, Baseball Hall of Fame, those inductions happened pretty recently. We saw one of the greatest hitters to ever hit the ball, Ichiro Suzuki, first player of Asian descent ever be inducted into the MLB Hall of Fame. He should not have been snubbed, should have been unanimous. Whoever that one voter is a complete idiot. So, just, it's just wild to me.
Probably some writer he rubbed the wrong way one time and just...
Dude came into the league at 26, and his batting average never dropped below 300 after like 22 games into his career or something. It's insane. 3,000 hit club, I mean, he was a great defensive player too. He was so fun to watch. Wish he would have won a ring, but I think he was stuck in Seattle his whole career. So,
yeah, dude, sports writers have way too much power when it comes to that stuff. So, but we are going to get into our AFC West preview. Let me change the screen here for us. We're going to be talking about the Raiders, the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Chiefs. So, 2024 standings. God, AFC West standings, not the NFC South standings. That's my bad. You've got the Chiefs in first place, 15-1 or 15-2, with a division record of 5-1. Chargers next, 11-6, with a division record of 4-2. Then the Broncos at 10-7. They were an exciting team to watch last year. We hope to see them take a step forward. I really like Bo Nix and Courtland Sutton, who just got paid. So that's been a fun duo to watch. And then the Vegas Raiders, which you'll see here in a moment, they've had a complete overhaul. So on their roster. But let's first talk about the notable transactions for the Chiefs. Oh, not sure how that got there. Geez.
This makes sense.
Notable transactions for the Chiefs.
Sense.
We got the refs there. That's weird. There's the right slide. That's my bad, boys. So you see that they've brought back a lot of players that were on the roster last year. They kind of had this thought last year of, getting Patrick some receivers, and it never worked out because they were never all on the field at the same time. So Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown was hurt for a while. Juju was hurt for a little bit. Rashee Rice played in the beginning of the year, was friendly fired and got hurt from Patrick Mahomes. So they brought back those two receivers. Rashee Rice should be back at the start of the season, and Patrick's going to have some targets to throw to, including Travis Kelce. So we do see some additions there as well. They made a big addition on the offensive line. They got Jalen Moore, signed him to a 2-year, $30 million contract, and then they re-signed Trey Smith to a 4-year, $94 million contract with $70 million guaranteed. I think that the Eagles pass rush has put a bad taste in their mouth from last year, so they kind of made some moves to rectify that, hopefully. Some guys leaving the team, Samaje Perine back with the Bengals. Mecole Hardman, we talked about him the other show. He's on the Packers. Don't know if he'll make the team or how much he'll play. Joe Thuney, we talked about him. He's with the Bears now. Justin Reed is now with the Saints, and then DeAndre Hopkins has become a Raven. So, in terms of fantasy purposes or fantasy implications, I want to talk a little bit about the running back position here. So, you see that they signed Elijah Mitchell. They brought back Kareem Hunt. Pacheco's still on the roster. Do you guys think that this is going to be like a 3-headed machine? Are they going to just, cycle these guys in and out? Because even when Pacheco came back from his injury last year, now we're not sure if he was 100%, but Kareem Hunt still got a lot of playing time on the field. So I'd like to get your guys' thoughts on that there.
I say look to be a two-headed monster with Kareem Hunt and Pacheco to hopefully prevent him from getting injured again. And Elijah Mitchell's just their third, just a little bit more depth there in case he does get hurt. They can still stick with that two running back system.
Yeah, the reason
that's my take on that.
The reason I'm bringing up Elijah so much is just in the NFL, you want to like when they sign position players, you kind of want to follow the money. And Elijah's getting paid $1 million more than Kareem Hunt now. That's a drop in the bucket for an NFL team, but at the same time, we've seen Elijah Mitchell play well when he was in San Fran. He was hurt last year, and then it's just going to kind of be interesting to see how that all shakes out this year.
I think that's also a little bit because Kareem Hunt does have a little bit of a off the team issues he's dealt with in the past. He had the DV charge. What was that? 3 years ago? Do you guys remember that?
It was.
He was playing for the Browns. I'm pretty sure.
No, he was with the Chiefs when it happened. They cut him.
And
then the Browns signed him for really cheap. But yeah, that had to be 4 years ago at this point, I think.
Okay. I just, again, it's still like it's not forgotten about is my point there. That might be a little bit where that money is coming from. Possibly that difference there is what you're seeing, just the effects of like, hey, we know you got some problems. We don't want to till you can, he's probably been good since then. I don't know what he was like with the Browns.
No, he was great with the Browns, yeah.
It could also be a factor of him. What, he's how old now?
Yeah, that's 32?
True.
My buddy went to college with him, so.
I mean, Elijah Mitchell's only 26, I think. So,
yes,
maybe this is forecasting where they get as much as they can at a Kareem Hunt's tank, and then they run the two-headed monster with Elijah Mitchell and Pacheco, which I think both of them are the same player. When Elijah Mitchell, when he was healthy, when he was with the 49ers, when he ran aggressively. He ran just like Pacheco and was quick, good burst, could receive out of the backfield. So Kareem Hunt's always been that, I'm going to bull you down. I'm not going to really dance outside. I'm just going to go ahead and go through you. So it makes more. I think the extra million, I think it's strictly just because of the age. That Kareem Hunt is on the
29.
way out. I mean, I don't know. I thought he was a little bit older than that, but I don't know. This team, it doesn't make sense because they get Patrick Mahomes, a shit ton of receivers, like you said, not to give him more opportunities to throw it. Look at the receivers that they had, right? They had an older DeAndre Hopkins, who was still very good. Older DeAndre Hopkins. A Juju Smith-Schuster, who was only good in Pittsburgh. Marquise Brown, injury prone, but quick as shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's not forget honestly, possibly the most perfect stature of a receiver that you could have in a Kadarius Toney.
Yep.
So you get, and Patty Mahomes is very good, but you're not getting him the George Pickens, the CeeDee Lamb, these traditional number one receivers, and now you're relying on Rashid Rice, who we know can handle the workload, is that possession guy. You got the speedster that's down the wing, but I mean, is Rice going to get a suspension? I mean, he's on a 38 year.
Oh, dude, I forgot guilty about that.
Yep. Last week, I was gonna try and bring that up. Thank you, Fish.
So it's one of those things where you get Patty Mahomes, who is an elite quarterback, and it's probably going to go down as one of the top 3 quarterbacks ever to play, right? It's trending that way. Let me say trending for the 39th time. It's going that way, right? But you get Patty Mahomes, all these receivers who were good or could have been good back in their heydays. You're just getting them damaged goods, and it seems like they're doing the same thing at the running back stature, where Elijah Mitchell is a low risk, high reward. He could pop off. He could be healthy. Kareem Hunt is aging, but it still showed they had plenty left in the tank. And then Pacheco, we know every time I see that guy run, I feel like he gets 10, 15 yards because he runs so damn aggressively. This team just doesn't make any sense. They shouldn't have won that many games. And I think most of them that they won were at least by 7 or less. So we could see this could be a team that is 3-14, but ended up being good. So I don't know.
I swear, I know we've known each other for 20 years, Fish, but when I was writing the list of the guys they were bringing back, I'm like, Marquise Brown, 1 year, $7 million. Juju Smith, 1 year, $1.4 million. Kareem Hunt, 1 year, $1.5 million with less than $1 million guaranteed. It's like, man, they are low risk, high reward. That is the exact thing I thought when I was writing this list. And I was like, man, they just seem to keep doing that too. I mean, they pay their big players. George Karlaftis, 4 year, $88 million, $61.7 million guaranteed. Nick Bolton, 3 year, $45 million. Trey Smith. I mean, they're paying their guys, their young guys, their young leaders, especially on defense. They have a leader per level, it seems like. So it's just funny. Like, they pay Patty Mahomes $500 million for 10 years, and then they go, let's figure out what you do with these pieces. We're gonna get you some guys that have played well in the past.
Well, unlock
that potential and let them go.
Hollywood had an ankle injury today, Tuesday.
Did he really?
See,
yeah, they don't know obviously the extent of it yet, but we'll see. I mean, that's just another wild situation for them to throw themselves in. You know, you got your number one, who's probably out half the season with a suspension. He's got 5-year probation, 30 days of jail time he has to serve within those 5 years. So we'll see what the NFL says.
It's just
if I'm him, I'm going to jail when that suspension starts. Get it over with.
Yeah, just get it done.
It's just, well, you look at this team, right? And I guess they could. I think the reason why they're getting a plethora of these older, damaged receivers and running backs is because there's implication that they could say, hey, we go to the Super Bowl almost every year. Do you want a ring?
Yep.
Cool. You do? Awesome. Play for us for 2 years, $3 million. That is your only chance to get a ring. Because, I mean, it just seems like Patty just finds a way to win, whether it's the guys on the slide before or, Patty Mahomes really carrying that team. But this team reminds me of those guys.
Yeah, those guys.
This team reminds me of the Patriots when Brady was playing. I mean, he never really had. I mean, outside of like Randy Moss and Garrett Blunt and stuff like that. But I mean, it was Gronk, always like
Edelman,
Gronk. But I mean, it's the same lineup, kind of. So it's just like, yeah, we'll get all these players, all these names that I've heard of for cheap, and guess what? I'm gonna put all my fish in a barrel. One of these guys, just one of them, will pan out and do something decent. So I don't know. This team doesn't make any sense, and I hate it. I really do.
Yep. I mean, they've made the playoffs for the past 10 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of those were in the Super Bowl.
Jeez.
Or they won the AFC West conference championships the last 1, 2, 3, 5 years in a row. They've been to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, it's a great point there.
I think we're also forgetting about Xavier Worthy too. I mean, Xavier
so
Worthy had such a good year at the end of the year last year,
and that their other Noah Gray. We talk about Kelsey a lot. The least favorite brother of the Kelseys.
Agreed.
Look, Jason's a dog. All right. He had a rough year last year. I don't know if it's all the acting he's doing on the side, hanging out with Taylor or what, but Noah Gray really stepped up and, kind of filled that hole that they needed as that extra receiver as well.
I don't think Noah Gray could have done that Happy Gilmore 2 role. I'll say that.
No, that movie was so good.
He was great in that
so
movie.
Good.
But yeah, you see their performance from 2024. Not a lot of sexy numbers here for the offense. They did find a way to win all the time. So you see that they called pass plays about 58% of the time, ran the ball 41% of the time. A lot of those pass plays probably dump offs to the running backs. But you see where they really shined is defense. I mean, the Chiefs' defense last year was very, very good. Fish?
We talked about this 38 podcasts ago. We said that this defense was slept on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were gross.
Yeah.
They were disgusting.
Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis. I mean, those guys are good. Nick Bolton. So, I assume that these offensive rankings, this offensive production is going to increase next year. I think that you're going to be seeing a lot more points scored from the Chiefs, especially if they're firing on all cylinders. Once they get Rashee Rice out of prison, maybe he'll be back to the way he was before, but they've still got guys that can stretch the field. Hopefully Hollywood's injury is not too bad and they can get him the ball. And yeah, I think you're going to see a really, really big uptick because there's not many seasons Patrick Mahomes has thrown under 4,000 yards, I feel like.
Yeah. And I mean,
I don't think it's many.
It's like Fish said, he's just good, and we hate him because he's good, just like we hated Brady because he was good.
Yeah, 100%. No, that's I'm actually checking Pat's stats right now.
Is he better than Brady? Absolutely not. Give me Tom Brady, the Michigan man, any day of the week.
It's closer than what you think, though.
Don't start with me.
That's closer than what you think.
Last year was just shy. I'm not going to check all these, but the year prior, he was over 4,000. I'm sure every year before that, he was over 4,000. Yeah, 2022, he was 5,000. So definitely a down year for Patrick Mahomes, and I can probably say that's because of the injuries. So I can't wait to actually watch the Chiefs a little bit more this year and hear Chris Collinsworth glaze Patrick Mahomes some more, but
you got new knee pads. Did you see that?
Chris Collinsworth, did he?
Yeah, you got new knee pads. They're like state-of-the-art ones.
Good for him, dude. The Chargers decided to use their throwback logo because I like it more. So
that is actually pretty logo.
It's a sick throwback. Pretty cool. But you see the additions here. They made a lot of moves. They re-signed Rashawn Slater. That's what we were talking about earlier. 4 years, $114 million, $92 million guaranteed. Huge contract for him. They're investing in that protection for Justin Herbert there. They did sign Mekhi Becton from the Eagles. He's going to play guard again, it seems. That's what they have him listed as on the roster. He was a tackle in his earlier career in New York for the Jets. Speaking of New York for the Jets, they signed Tyler Conklin. They've finally got a tight end presence again. Now, Tyler Conklin's not great by any means, but I think he's going to be better than what they've had there in the previous years. They did sign Khalil Mack. He's coming back on a 1 year, $18 million fully guaranteed deal. They did let Bosa walk, but they did bring in Bud Dupree to start opposite side of Khalil Mack. So I think you're still going to see a great pass rush from them. Their biggest loss in my mind here is going to be Poona Ford, the defensive tackle. So we talked about him a couple podcasts ago, but then the thing on here that shocks me the most, and it's one of their subtractions, Asante Samuel Jr. is still not signed anywhere. 26 years old, the son of Asante Samuel Sr. Obviously, his dad was a baller. I always thought he played well, but apparently I might be wrong.
He played well. I think there was just too much hype leading to his father. Because I remember when he came to the league, I was like, hopefully the Eagles snag him. It would be great to have his father present again at the Eagles, practices and stuff like that. But there were some plays that we watched in the highlights and stuff. I mean, he played really well, had lockdown defense, and then other times he just kind of looked lost. So I wonder if there is, like you said, there's got to be something else, because a cornerback that young, who comes from a football family, who was good in college, had flash in the pans, and he's still not signed, not even to a practice squad. There's got to be some other underlying issues that kind of detered everybody away. So it's
he only played 4 games last year, had a shoulder injury, so I don't know how serious that was or what it's really done to him. So
yeah, I don't know. That's always surprised me every time I go look at the free agent wire. Like, I can't believe he's still out there. Anyways, the biggest thing for fantasy implications here is the signing of Najee Harris. Old one-eyed Najee out there going to be running the rock with the singer Omarion. I think that that's going to be a pretty successful 2-man backfield. Very different play styles. Najee's very much the let me lower my shoulder and run you over. And if he gets behind Mekhi Becton and Bradley Bozeman, it's going to be a tough thing to stop. And then Omarion, I didn't put him on here just because there were so many names that they got in free agency, but he is signed. Drafted him in the first round. Was it first round or second round? Anyways, that doesn't really matter. But he's on the team. He's going to play. He's going to probably be the change of pace back, or maybe he'll just beat Najee out for the starting position. But fantasy-wise, what do you guys think is going to happen for the Chargers next year? Probably an uptick, because here's their performance from last year.
Yeah. We knew their defense was also slept. They just had a really good defense.
Yeah.
Herbert played lights out through the season and then had that one shit playoff game, and then everyone only remembers the playoff game. Look, J.K. Dobbins was great. I'm glad he had a little spurt to his career. He's gone elsewhere. This running back duo that they have now with Najee and the singer, this is implications to be dangerous, especially running behind their center. They re-signed their left tackle, and now you throw in Mekhi Becton, who is, I think, 2 full humans. It's going to be a problem. I think a lot of those holes are going to open up. And like you said, Najee's going to be the guy that's going to run down your throat, because he never really had, especially when playing with Bama, he never had that, burst of speed. He's not going to outrun anybody. He doesn't need to. He's like 6'1", 2 something. So Omarion is gonna do well. I think you're going to see most of his production pass catching initially, because I believe that they're going to ease him in to the NFL. They're not just going to throw him the rock and say, all right, 25 carries, have fun. The offense got a lot better. They revamped that O-line, which is great. So I think Omarion will probably eventually take over the reins. But we've talked about this before, boys. Why rush it? Najee's still young. He can still run the rock. But look for Omarion to get his shining glory. Probably about, I kind of anticipate week 8 you'll start to see that even split kind of lean in his favor, especially if he starts popping off some of those longer runs like he did in college. Najee's just never been known for that. So Najee will beat the hell out of the D-line, and then Omarion will sing his way into the end zone.
It's exactly what they did in Pittsburgh with Najee. I mean, Najee run the ball, downs 1 and 2. We'll bring in Jalen Warren. Maybe we'll hand it off. Maybe we'll throw it. If Jalen Warren is in the open, he's going to succeed. So I think Omarion is going to do great in that role. I did want to bring this thing. Sorry, go ahead, Soltowski.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing too was Herbert, just like you said, played lights out. He had 3 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions, just under 4,000 passing yards. So they were putting the ball in his hands because he was hitting everybody. He wasn't throwing to the other team. So I think too, though, that's good points. I think that running back duo will help open that split as well. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, they might have the second best offensive line too behind the Eagles, because they've got Rashawn Slater, Joe Alt at the tackle positions. They have Bradley Bozeman actually listed as a guard here opposite Mekhi Becton, and then they have Zion Johnson as the center. So Bradley can play any of those 3 middle positions there, but it's good that they have a good offensive line, because I'm not sure if you guys see who the 3 quarterbacks are behind Justin Herbert. It's not good.
Hey, Trey Lance is starting the Hall of Fame game, man.
Is Taylor Heineke, it's Trey Lance, and it's DJ Agulele, or however you say his name.
Oh, the dude from Florida State?
Yes, it is not
that
good,
guy,
man.
DJ?
Yeah, it is not good behind Justin Herbert there. They need to make sure that man is upright and he's not on the ground at all during the games there. But we can move on here to the Broncos. So the Broncos, they signed J.K. Dobbins. Not a lot of crazy moves here. Zach Wilson no longer on the team. Javonte Williams is no longer on the team. They brought J.K. Dobbins in to take over that. Hopefully, I don't know, man. They've got 4 running backs there that can all play. Evan Ingram's there now. They've got a good presence at tight end. Signed him a 2-year, $23 million deal. Thought that was a little bit high for Evan Ingram, but Dre Greenlaw and Talona Hufanga are there from the 49ers. They're going to be great leaders there in the defense to really bolster up a great defense that the Broncos had last year. You see the biggest signing.
Monster.
Yeah. The biggest signing for them is Cortland Sutton. They brought him back in a 4-year, $92 million deal, $41 million guaranteed. I'm sure the $41 million is because he's a little bit older, so maybe they can trade or cut him after a couple years. But no, I'm very excited to see this team next year. Not super excited for the running back room just because there's so many guys there, but I'm very excited to see what Bo Nix does. I'm excited to see what the receivers, Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims, excited to see what they do, and then Evan Ingram being in that mix too. So it's gonna be an interesting ride next year for them.
They also drafted RJ Harvey too.
Yes,
he's listed as their number one right now.
He is right now.
So
yeah.
he's got a great stature for a running back. He's small, but he's tough to bring down. I don't know where, because Javonte Williams is kind of that, when he played, he was kind of that bruiser back, if you could say it with a little bit of air quotes. He never really a bruiser, right? I think of a bruiser back, I think of Brandon Jacobs and Najee Harris. This big physical guy is going to take 2 or 3, 4 guys to bring him down and wear him out. RJ Harvey might be that guy that kind of helps bolster that north-south running. Apparently, he's very, very quick as well with his little shuffle on the outside. So J.K. Dobbins, I'm sure, is just there to get. And again, hopefully a lot of these NFL teams are taking that approach of easing players in. That they got him on a 1-year deal, $3 million essentially. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt, right? If he doesn't perform, it's not the end of the world. R.J. Harvey is going to take over the lead role. We've seen the other 2 running backs have their opportunities last year with Javonte Williams there. Then McLaughlin, I think, was taking over. We've seen flashes in the pans, but they're very, very good receiving wise. They never had that bruising back. R.J. Harvey could be their bruising back that they need. And keep in mind, these running backs are not going to get 20 carries a game.
No.
Right? You got a quarterback that is extremely mobile, and he learned that last year of how quick and how good he is and how smart he is to kind of get out of bounds or take that slide. He doesn't need that extra yard or 2. And then all of a sudden lose his face. So keep that in mind. RJ Harvey, you're going to see most of his work probably through the air. What he was known for in college as well, not only running the rock north to south, kind of dancing off the outside, but his pass catching ability. I know we talk about this all the time. I feel like we say this every time when we talk about a running back, but I truly believe that that's where most of his fantasy production will come from. And he is quick enough. I think he ran a sub 440, that he is quick enough to get out in open space and burn someone for that long run too. So it's just something to kind of keep an eye on. I don't really trust J.K. Dobbins that much. I like him, but it's not going to hold throughout the season.
No, if you're looking for a bruiser stature-wise, that's Audric Estime. He was a rookie last year out of Notre Dame. 5'11", 227. I mean, he's the biggest back on the roster, but he didn't really get much last year. He got 76 carries for 310 yards, which is a good yards per carry average, but at the end of the day, he's probably got to get a little bit more workload to be fantasy relevant.
I know. He's on my team. I picked him last year in the rookie draft.
Yeah. And with JK being there, I'm not sure he's going to get that, unfortunately. But
that is what we'll see. You never know.
JK frequently he gets hurt, man. I mean, you never know.
Oh, yeah.
He does. I think the biggest thing for the Broncos is, you think about last year, there's 2 rookies that stood out, obviously, in the quarterback class. You had Jaden Daniels, obviously, and Bo Nix. Bo Nix had an abysmal start to the season. First 2 games, he played like crap. Turned it around, and, I mean, really just had a phenomenal rookie season. I loved watching him. He was fun to watch. And it's all about his sophomore year. If he doesn't have that sophomore slump, because they are, as you can see now, they're pretty pass dependent. It could change, like you guys said, with the running back situation. But when you pay Cortland Sutton that amount of money, you pick up Engram to add to your tight end room. You got Marvin Mims out there who is also very quick and can catch the ball very well. So it'll be hopefully fun to watch him again this year because he, like Fish said, is very mobile, very smart in his decision making. Once he got his head wrapped around the NFL, he adjusted very, very well. And I think it helps that he's also pretty old for a rookie. If I'm not mistaken. I think he played in college for like 8 years.
Yeah, Bo Nix I feel like he's always been on the college football field ever since I can remember, but
he's 25.
25. Yeah, that's old for your second season. But you see their production last year. Can't say enough good things about the defense. I think that the pass yards allowed is a little bit skewed just because the Broncos offense was constantly putting points on the board. You see they were top 10 there. They converted 61% of their red zone attempts as touchdowns, which is just, I'm pretty sure that's like top 5 in the league. That's phenomenal. So they find a way to get it into the end zone. It seems like Sean Payton is kind of recreating the Saints of the old with Bo Nix being Drew Brees, and then they have Cortland Sutton as Marquise Colston. It's just cool to see like his coaching style come back, and then also how it impacts these players, like the big physical receivers back. The mobile quarterback is also great at slinging the ball down the field's back. So I'm excited for the Broncos next year. I really am. And I know as a Browns fan, I'm supposed to hate the Broncos because of Elway, the drive, but I'm excited to see how they play. And I use the old logo too here because, damn it, I like it better.
I agree.
Yeah.
They need to go back to that. It's way better than the current day logo. But here's the big one. So a lot of moves.
The Bears again?
The Bears again? No. A lot of moves. Oh, God damn it. I did put the Bears. Son of a bitch, man. I need one of you guys to pre-look at these before
when you get it done, send it to me, dude. I got time. I can fact check you and edit it. But while you're fixing this, nope. That's yep. This is, I think, my team to watch this year. Just with all the moves that they've made, signing Genty to that massive deal as a rookie, bringing back the corpse of Pete Carroll, and then him working with Geno again. I mean, paying Max Crosby what he's worth. I just think, they're going to have a big turnaround from last year.
I mean, it's just a lot of moves, man.
It is.
They lost a lot of older guys, a couple young guys. They signed a lot of very old players, which, like those 3 linebackers, Jalen Smith, Fish, that's the same Jalen Smith from the Cowboys back in the day.
What? The
one that hurt his ankle and he wasn't able to flex his foot anymore. He completely didn't even play last year in the league. And now he's back trying out for the Raiders. I'm not sure if they're going to keep him there. Devin White's back. He's extremely old. Jermaine Pratt, he's not too old. He's pretty young, but they're going to dust off the legs of Raheem Mostert again.
He's there to give Genty a break when he needs it. And listen, right. You're going to see, look, if you have the first overall pick Genty, they're going to just feed that man the ball.
Yeah, he's going to get the ball quite a bit.
And he runs
angry.
Like he's got, angry runs. He's hard to bring down. I mean, he stands in the backfield looking like Michael Myers. He was so fun to watch at Boise State. I'm excited to see what he's going to do in the pros. Again, huge deal for a rookie, 4-year, 32nd highest paid running back in the league. Hasn't played a down of football.
Yeah. No, I'm
going to watch some Raider football this year, boys.
Oh, also, when I was going through their additions list, it said Jamal Adams was also an addition, but they didn't have any contract information for him, so I left him off the list. But I don't know. I like some of these moves, but they're just so old, man. It's like they're geriatric, and I know Pete Carroll's old, but
Carroll's like 80, dude.
It's the Las Vegas retirement community about to roll out there on the field.
It's so bad.
Like, I don't know, man. I that's about all I have to say too. Is Zoltowski. I'm excited for.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Ashton Genty and Brock Powers. That's about it.
I think it's gonna be a Bengals situation where they're gonna put up a bunch of points and then let up a bunch of points.
Well, there's not really anywhere they can go but up for offensive standpoint. I mean, their rushing yards, you can see 32nd in the league. That's why they drafted Genty.
Jamal Adams is with them, and he's not a safety anymore. He's working at linebacker.
Oh, interesting.
Is this Madden?
Because they also signed Jeremy Chin. And they gave Isaiah Polomau, I think that's how you say it, long-term extension. So they signed him.
Polamalu's back in the league.
Go dumb.
You know, I'm out. He was, dude, the man was a monster. But no, it says that he's working with the linebackers, trying to make a comeback after splitting last season between the Titans and Lions practice squad. So
interesting.
Pete Carroll wanted him to play inside. So
okay,
he's been a fantastic blitzer. So I don't know.
No, I mean, they did the same thing with Divine Diablo when he was drafted. I mean, he played safety in college, and then he played linebacker for the Raiders last year. Diablo, yeah. Better not say Diablo in front of Fish too many times. He'll leave the pod to go play.
There's sub-hooked.
Dude, he's been playing the whole time. What are you talking about?
Right.
You see his eyes darting over there?
So something that you notated on... It was the Broncos or the Bears or whatever the last slide, the title that you had.
Red zone attempts.
Look at the Raiders.
Yeah,
and what they converted.
I was shocked, especially with how little they scored. They just must have not gotten to the red zone.
Yeah, they got the red Brock Bowers.
Yeah, 6 out of 10 times that was it.
They threw the ball to Brock Bowers. That's why they called pass plays 60% of the time.
Yeah, this team's obviously the biggest question mark for me for this division this year. I don't know what to expect. I don't know if Geno's going to be good. Who's he going to throw to other than Bowers? They have no one.
It worked out well for them last year. Their defense isn't. I mean, it's middle of the pack, but you figure with those offensive stats, you figure that they would also be a shitstorm on defense. Defense isn't that bad. They give up a lot of points though, but
yeah, their break don't bend. You want the other way around. Yeah. Bend don't break. I don't know, man. We're gonna do our tier list, and you could probably expect the Raiders to be in 4th place in many of these categories, other than tight end. But
yeah, tight end, they'll be up there.
Let's get into this now. So we have.
I gotta open all my tabs of depth charts.
Position. I think this one's pretty obvious, boys. We're gonna go ahead and go with Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix.
Can't see it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix, and then Geno Smith as the quarterbacks there. Running backs. You know, we were talking about how good the backfield is seeming to be for the Chargers. They've got Pacheco. We've got Ashton Genty. He's never played it down before. Do we want to put him high?
I don't put him high because, again, he hasn't played it down. If we're going based off of college performances, absolutely he's number one, but that doesn't translate. So I can't in good faith put him at the top. It's as excited as I am to watch him.
So I think we're doing that first, right?
And then I would think you put the Chiefs
next. Chiefs second. I think so too. Yep. And then the other two.
I mean,
I want to put Genty third. I do, personally.
I like Genty at 3, but who is behind him?
Mostert,
Zamir White.
Yeah. Who? That sack of shit. Yeah, put him there.
Offensive line, Chargers.
Chargers by 4.
Easily. And then I think secondly we should put probably the Chiefs. They made a lot of great moves there.
Even though they have that one tackle that false starts every play.
Yeah. And then for the Broncos and the Raiders, Broncos have Colton Miller. He's a very good left tackle, but not much else.
Who do the Raiders have?
Or I'm sorry, the Raiders have Colton Miller. Great left tackle, not much else. The Broncos have Quinn Meneres. He's a really good right guard. Mike McGlinchey, Garrett Bowles. I think we put them third and then have the Raiders take the last last position there. For wide receivers, I think I want to go Broncos. Ladd McConkey.
Yeah.
Do we want to go Chargers first? They've got Ladd McConkey. They've got Quentin Johnston. No, I think it's definitely got to be the Broncos with Marvin Mims and Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, that duo is.
Well, I don't know. I would probably put the Chiefs first if there's no.
Just based off of pure talent with no
Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, both of them, they have found each other's complacency with, we understand one's a reception, one, catch down the middle, the other one's a speedster. I think that just makes the most sense. But it is closer than what you'd think.
Maybe this will be our poll this week.
That'd be good.
What receivers would you rather? What receiving room would you rather have?
That'd be a good one. Yeah, because it'd just be those two.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put that out this week.
Those two.
Tight end. This one's very clear to me. I'm going Brock Bowers first overall.
Yep.
Yep.
Then the rest of it gets kind of muddy. I mean, you could put Travis Kelce next. He had a really, really down year last year. I don't know if he was going to bounce back, but I think I would.
Noah Gray.
Yeah, and they're going to.
Noah Gray, yeah.
And the threat that Kelce presents is going to free up other coverage because they're going to have to cover him, especially if he's lined up outside.
Yeah. I think that's what you do with the rest of those two. I mean, they signed Evan Ingram, the Broncos did, and then the Chargers have, who'd I say?
Will
Dissly and Tyler Conkin.
Tyler Conkin.
I mean, I like Evan Ingram there. He did well with Jacksonville for the opportunities they had, but I think Zoltowski's right. I think what's-his-face just gives too much of a presence where they have to guard him.
They have to acknowledge him.
They have to do it.
All right, and then we've got the defensive players. So we've got corners. I believe first here you have to go with the Broncos just because of PS2 there.
Yeah.
And then I think next I would I'd go with the Chiefs just because of Trent McDuffie. But the Chargers do have Dante Jackson as their number one corner this year. So I would go with the Chiefs, and then the Raiders are just got
trying things out.
Darian Porter and Eric Stokes. So Eric Stokes, I think I've heard of that name, but Darian Porter, I have no idea who that is.
The Raiders are just going to be bottom tier, especially against these three teams. With how defensively stacked they are, it's going to be tough to outbeat those three.
Yeah. And for safeties, I think you have to give the nod to the Chargers because of Derwin James Jr. Talona Hufanga is really good for the Broncos. You've got Jeremy Chin for the Raiders there. And then for the Chiefs, you have Jaden Hooks and Brian Cook. Don't really know what to do with the rest of these guys. I mean, we'll just put that there for now because that's definitely number one. Jeremy Chin's a pretty good safety, but Isaiah Pulamau, I don't know how I don't think I've ever heard his name before. Talona Hufanga, a great strong safety. Brandon Jones is pretty good back there too, so I would venture to put them second. Whoops, that's the Chargers again, and then probably the Chiefs third, and then the Broncos fourth, or the Raiders fourth.
You okay tonight?
Nope. There's too much going on. Too many monitors.
Go get a water after that.
I'm trying to read, dude. It's not my strong suit. In defensive linemen, what are you guys thinking for D-line?
Is Jones still with the Chiefs?
Chris Jones is still with the Chiefs right now. They have George Karlaftis. They just signed to a long deal.
So I would probably put Chiefs there.
Yeah, I think I would Chiefs as well. And then probably Max Crosby second.
Yeah.
So Chiefs, Raiders,
a force. And then
I think you do
probably the Chargers.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack.
Yeah, Khalil Mack
Broncos.
and T.R. Tart. So Chargers and then the Broncos. Linebackers, I really, really like Nick Bolton. I know that there's more than just one linebacker there, but you got Dre Greenlaw for the Broncos and Alex Singleton. He was pretty good last year. Nobody of name for, at least not this decade, for the Raiders. You've got Jermaine Pratt, who they signed from the Bengals. Kansas City, Nick Bolton, like I said, Drew Tranquil. And then, I would go Chiefs first.
Yep.
I would go probably the Broncos second. Chargers, I'm looking at these linebacker names. I no idea. Except for Khalil Mack, who's an edge rusher. I have no idea who the rest of these guys are. Day and Henley, Junior Colson, maybe we're casuals, boys. I know who Denzel Perryman is, but he's listed second on the depth chart, so.
Nice.
I don't know.
Big yikes.
I guess we'll do this because the Raiders are just bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then here's a fun one. We'll go head coaches. You got to put Big Red first, right?
Yep.
Yeah, get him a cheeseburger.
Yep.
Now, here's one I think Zoltowski's going to struggle with.
That's hard.
Do you go Harbaugh?
This is hard. Honestly.
Do you go Chomping Gum, Corpse, Pete Carroll?
They're three good coaches. I mean,
these are three good coaches here.
Yeah, I mean, we make fun. I'll make fun of Pete Carroll for being old, but he has. I mean, he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
he won 2, didn't he? Or just 1?
I think I don't know.
I remember
2 with the Seahawks.
I remember the Seahawks defense, and when Russell was there too at quarterback, they were good. You know, beast mode.
Remember the pick at the end of the Super Bowl.
I remember that too. That was a dumb decision.
Didn't they all win a Super Bowl?
Not Harbaugh.
Did he not?
Jim Harbaugh? No.
His brother did. Harbaugh won a national championship, went undefeated.
That counts, right?
He's from Toledo, so that makes me like him even more.
Could be stealing some signs
honestly,
out there.
give me Sean Payton, and then Harbaugh, and then Pete Carroll.
Okay. I think these three are real close, man.
That is real close. Honestly, no, it's exactly as close as I think.
Closer than you think.
Because Pete Carroll has 8 million years of experience under him.
He taught Moses back in the 3rd grade. It's crazy.
Sean
shit.
Payton also has a bunch of experience. We've seen what he's done to the Broncos, how they've turned around. The Chargers played really well last year. You know, 3 out of 4 of your teams make the playoffs in your division. It'd be a pretty good division.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, based on our list here, the Chiefs are going to win the division. It's going to be a battle for second, third between the Broncos and the Chargers, and then the Raiders are probably going to come up last. So, with a very exciting tight end play, I might add.
And running back play, hopefully. Yeah. So, that's the show. We appreciate you listening, appreciate you watching. Check out the Fun Friday show. We're about to go record that now on OSCGG. Thanks for being a gent. Let us know what we got wrong. We want more engagement from you guys.
That's good.
Peace out.
See you guys.
Bye.